Hey everybody, welcome back to the Amen, the podcast where sometimes I talk for an hour, sometimes I look at two articles, one from a liberal, one from a conservative website. Full transparency, I'm still figuring it out. I don't know what this podcast is supposed to be. I don't know. In trying to be creative, and it's about stand-up too. What's that? And mental health. And apparently lately I can't shut up about Alcoholics Anonymous. So yeah, I've got problems. I don't, and me trying to be creative for my own sake, but also trying to make a career out of it, but also avoid being a YouTuber. I'm like, I'm looking for what feels authentic, what feels genuine, but also what are people going to want to listen to? So, I look at some of my old podcasts. I'm proud of some of them. Some of them I'm a little bit, that could have been funny or that could have been whatever. And I just, who am I? Who wants to hear some stranger talk for an hour about nothing or about themselves, I wouldn't want to do that unless the person was really interesting. And I think I'm only hitting the really interesting mark like 10% of the time. So, today I sat down, I was like, do I really want to look at two articles? I don't want to today. I don't want to. So I guess that's what this podcast is. It's a podcast where sometimes I talk for an hour or sometimes I talk for 20 minutes and then look at two articles, one from a liberal website, one from a conservative website. I don't know, and I can't speak. So that's what this podcast is. It's a mess. And I hate the name. I hate it. I don't hate it, actually. All Moments Eternally Nice is what this podcast is called. Subject to change, but it's what it's called. And it's called that because I am constantly striving to make every moment in my day feel good. But that's not real life, It's not, and it's not like, I'm not just saying like, oh, real life is painful, like reality is a dark abyss. That's not even what I'm getting at. It's just in life, sometimes you need bad things to get the good things, In my stand-up career, I've bombed, I don't know how many hundreds of times. But now, because of that, oftentimes I do very well. But without those horrible, terrible, shame-inducing experiences, which, by the way, dude, sometimes bombing is just like, it's bad enough on its own, okay? It's bad enough to get in front of a group of people that you don't know and be like, here's my dream, and try to be funny about it, and then they don't like it. And because when it's in stand-up, when they don't like it, they don't like you, basically. Rarely is somebody like, yeah, I loved him, I just hated his jokes. That's not really the angle that people are coming from. It feels very personal, deeply personal when you bomb. But then you stack other things on top of it as you start to, progress and you get opportunities. So now maybe a club is watching you, right? The manager is watching, the booker's watching you. You're a dumbass, so you invite your friends to come see you, stuff like that. One of the worst bombs maybe that's what this episode's about, bombs. I don't fucking know. But one of the worst bombs I ever had, dude, it was like, I don't know, it was years ago, okay? For those of you that don't know, I did stand-up for like 7-8 years, and then I stopped for 5 years, and now I'm back to it for a couple years now. So I've started to look at myself like a new comedian, even though I don't think that's fair, Like I'm not a brand new comedian, and by fair, I mean, I don't want people to see me doing well and be like, wow, he's only been doing it for a couple years. It's like, no, that's not exactly true. But I also don't want people to see me squirming up there and be like, Christ, he's been doing it for 17 years or whatever the fuck it is, and be like, he's shitty, he's horrible. Because that's not the case either. I was not consistent back in the day, but also I'm not brand new. So this was like 15 years ago. Was it 15 years ago? I don't know. Was that accurate? Not quite 15, so 10, we'll say, whatever. And I was at the local club that I played a lot. I grew up in Indiana, so I was playing a club. I lived like 7 minutes from it. I wish I had taken better advantage of it, but I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know how to work hard. I had no idea how to show up for myself, for my career. Just no clue. No clue. I didn't know how to be a stand-up comedian. I still really don't know how to be a stand-up comedian, but I'm learning now. I feel like I'm approaching it in different ways. So I was at this place called Morty's Comedy Club, and it was the open mic. And I don't think Morty's open mic was a bringer show. And for those that don't know, a bringer show is where you have to bring people in order to perform. Unless you're like a professional comic or a club regular, you've got to bring people. So I don't think it was a bringer, but I can't remember. But for some reason, and this is when I was like a devout 12-step follower, I brought a bunch of fucking people from an AA meeting. What's more fun in a building full of people getting drunk because they have to, because of 2 item minimum? A bunch of people that can't get drunk or they will go to prison, beat their spouses, and I don't know, self-harm because we're on YouTube. So I invited so many people, dude. I don't know if I meant to invite this many people, but I invited so many people. It ended up that I had like, the audience was probably 40 people. And I had like 16 of those were my, not even friends. That's the thing. It was like, I think 2, I'm holding up 1, but like 2 of them were my friends. And then the rest were just like people that were also sober that I was in proximity to when I went to meetings. So there was really no reason for them to be there anyways. I had nothing to show off. I didn't have an act at that point. I didn't have an ability to improvise. I really had no ability to entertain people at all, except if I got really lucky and I rolled the dice, and when I got up on stage, I happened to be funny for some reason. I don't remember. I mean, I must have had a good set at some point, right? I must have had a couple good sets and convinced myself that bringing people was going to go well, because why else would I do that, right? Like if I had only bombed up to that point, I was very naive, I was very immature, but I don't think I was stupid. So why would I, if I'm like, well, I'm guaranteed to not do well, let's bring out everybody in my social circle so I feel completely isolated from them in the near future. And they're my protectors in a way. You know, I was staying sober through 12 steps. So let's go ahead and isolate myself from the program that's in some ways keeping me alive right now. You know, I don't know why I would have done that. So I must have had good sets. I must have been funny on stage at some point. And you can hear my dog shaking in the back. She needs to be brushed. I got to brush her every time. I wear all black most of the time because I'm a very deep, sad boy. And she sleeps next to me in bed, and I wake up and I'm covered in hair. And she really needs, not a bath, but at least maybe a bath, but to be brushed. So these people come out to see me at Morty's. And it's the open mic. So I'm only doing, 5 minutes. I think Morty's might have given you 6 minutes, something like that. By the way, are you vaping? Bad news, by the way. I think pretty soon I'm going to start chewing nicotine gum with the intention to stop vaping. Why, Max? You've been telling us to vape for the last year. Yes, you should stay addicted to nicotine, not me. I need to move on to bigger, better things. So, so all these people come out. And I don't remember much of what I talked about. I remember one thing, though. I remember here's the deal. I don't even know if I had planned to do it, okay? I don't even know, I will get up on stage now with a vague idea of what I want to talk about, like something I think that's funny, right? But I also trust in my ability now to make that thing funny. But at the time, I don't think I had that ability. I don't think I trusted myself. I don't know where the fuck I was coming from with this. But at some point in the set, I got up. Well, at some point in the night, I got up, and during my act, you can't even call it that, I laid on the ground and started talking about 9/11. I don't know what the punchline was. I don't know if there was a punchline. I have jokes about 9/11. It's possible to write funny jokes about terrorist attacks. I mean, I come from a Palestinian family. I've got personal experience. My uncles are terrorists. So I know how to shape a bit now around that sort of thing. But at the time, I literally think I was just bringing it up. I laid down, which at the time, I don't think I even had stage presence. So I'm giving up any semblance of control I had over the room by laying down and becoming vulnerable, and then just started talking logistically about 9/11. I have no clue what my plan was. AA members are not facetiously, but a saccharine kind of sweet and kind sometimes, okay? Because they're trying to be supportive, and they're trying to be supportive of strangers. So how do you be supportive of strangers unless you have time and the ability to get into an intimate conversation to get to know the stranger? You kind of just have to be effusively positive. And so that was my experience of all these people and in meetings, is that they would be very positive. Oh, I bet you're great up there. Or if it came to my sobriety, you got it. You keep going. Meeting makers make it. Awkward shit that you have to do if you're trying to pretend you've got a relationship with somebody you don't. It's the politeness that you have when you're interacting with somebody at a gas station. It's just awkward. It's awkward and it's false, and it's not an AA thing. It's a human thing. It's just what we do because that's way more polite than just being a fucking cunt to somebody that you don't know. So I had only experienced these people as, you know, over the top nice and kind. And after my set, dude, nobody looked at me. Like, and I mean, like, I'm outside the building. I don't know why. Here's what I would do now if I bombed in a situation like this. I am absolutely running away. I'm probably leaving the night early, not saying bye to anybody. I'm definitely going to at least sit in the green room. I'm not going to talk to anybody. But, you know, maybe I just felt like I was so new I didn't have anywhere to hide. Or I don't know, dude. I look back. I was a kid. I was young. I was stupid. I think I was really immature for my age, to be honest. I used to think I was a mature kid. I don't think that anymore. I think I was mature in some ways, but very, very immature in others. Not that running and hiding from people is the most mature thing to do, but it's certainly better than just like acting like everything fucking went well. And so I was outside saying goodbye to them one by one, and none of them would shake my hand or say goodbye. It was so bad. And what I wish their response had been was just honesty. Just like, that was rough, dude. You can be nice about a brutal truth, you know? Like, you can be like, you know, man, here's what I felt you did well. That was really bad, but here's what I felt you did well. Like, there's ways that could have been handled. But up to that point, you know, I didn't know these people. We'd only interacted in that saccharine way I mentioned before. And it was just horrible. It was horrible. So none of them looked at me. I was so embarrassed, so ashamed. So I felt like such a fraud. Like, who am I to say I'm doing comedy? Nobody laughed. You know, is it comedy if nobody laughs? I don't know. I think you can make that argument, but I don't think what I did was. And yeah. And now I go to AA meetings after this. By the way, I know I do shit on AA, and I'm not trying to be an AA fucking podcast or YouTube. I kind of want to move on from it. I feel like it's come up a lot lately, and that's totally my fault. But this just happened. They just happened to be in the story. I'm not trying to say anything about them. But now I went to meetings, and people would come up to me weeks and months after this happened and be like, I heard you suck. And it's like, cool, dude. Thanks. Thanks so much for that. So out of self-pity, complete self-pity, I you know what, in hindsight, what I should have been like, I'm new, dude. I shouldn't have invited people. There was no reason for me to invite people, have them, you know, hopefully they had fun anyways. It's not like everybody was unfunny. I think me and a few other people did poorly, and then everybody else probably did well, whatever. I should have just been like, yeah, I'm new. Shouldn't have invited you guys. Hopefully you had fun anyways, whatever. But I took it so personally that it destroyed me. So I self-pity mode, took like a piece of paper. There was like a tack board in this AA building, and I put up this AA clubhouse. I hate they called it clubhouse. And then I hung it, and it just said, I know I suck at comedy. Like, totally ego driven. Like, nobody's thinking about you, you fucking narcissist. You know, I know I suck at comedy. Please stop bringing it up. Some shit like that. But those bombs are essential, you know? So my whole point in bringing all of this up is, you know, this podcast is all moments eternally nice because I'm constantly chasing, making every moment feel good. And that's not reality. Not every moment's going to feel good. I'm not going to feel fulfilled 24/7. And you know what? I feel like I had reached a plateau of happiness for a while, and I'm sort of taking ladder steps to the next one. And I'm seeing how much I don't, I'm seeing how much effort I don't put in. And I don't mean I'm lazy. I think the actual issue is I'm addicted to screens. I don't play games all day or anything, but I do watch a lot of YouTube. Even if it's useful YouTube, it's like stand-up stuff. And I do watch a lot of like Netflix series lately. That's kind of a new development, but all of these initially were like me trying to better myself. You know, I'm watching stand-up on YouTube. I'm listening to podcasts with comedians on YouTube. And then the Netflix stuff is like, I'm trying to be more cultured. I want to be able to relate to people. I've never been a TV guy. I've never been a political guy. So I'm trying to dive a little bit into politics just to better understand people. I'm trying to dive a little bit into what people are watching so I can have a conversation with them about it. So I can have something relevant to say when people want to talk about what shows they're watching. I can be like, oh, did you see this? Here's how I thought about it. And then it's helped. It's helped. You know, people have brought shit up that I've now seen, and I can talk to them about it. Part of me misses the old me that was just like, that's all a waste of time. I don't give a shit about any of that. But, you know, now I've almost slipped too far into the rabbit hole. I'm like way too much screen time. So I think that's a big problem. You know, I've always looked at myself as like, I'm really not on social media. I'm literally like on it. I technically I guess maybe technically is the better word than literally. I technically am on it, but I don't look at it unless it's absolutely necessary, which is something that's going to have to change probably if I decide I want to. But so I've always prided myself on being like, yeah, I'm like better than everybody because I'm not like addicted to my phone. And it's like, yeah, motherfucker, but you're still addicted to screens. If I have a day to myself where I don't have a show that night, there's no mic I can go to, I whatever, I don't need to record anything, whatever, why am I describing free time to you as though you don't know what I mean when I say free time? There's something insecure there where I have to justify my free time by naming things that I do when I don't have free time. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? I feel like I have to name for you guys shit that I do that is busy work, useful busy work, so that I'm not just a lazy piece of shit. See, that's all insecurity. That's all. I'm catching myself in the act, red-handed. So, I'm addicted to screens. And it's an avoidant thing. Some of the shit I watch is fucking fantastic. And it's just straight up great. And that's why I'm watching it. But, like today I didn't want to sit down and do this. And it's not even that I didn't want to sit there, like I'm enjoying it now that I'm doing it. It's not even that I didn't want to do it. It's just so easy to stay in one place. So, I'm a big fan of letting just sitting and letting the moss grow up around me. Start to become a part of the environment. Be immobile for so long that roots are growing up between my toes. So I just, I'm seeing that. I'm seeing that in myself now. I'm seeing that I don't, I'm way more actively participating in my life than I ever have. But I still see how inactive I am in it. I still see that. And I was going to say I hate it. I don't think I hate it, but I'm starting to get really sick of it. I don't think necessarily that it's even going to hold me back. I mean, it will in some ways. If I don't put myself out there romantically, I'm never going to date anybody. If I don't put myself out there comedically, I'm probably never going to improve and progress, whatever. And I'm decent at putting myself out there comedically, but like in other areas, I'm just whatever. I don't need to go off on a whole other thing, but I'm seeing that now. So as much as I'm annoyed, I swear this is all about one thing. I swear to you. As much as I'm annoyed with myself and like saying that I don't like what this podcast is called anymore, I'm afraid people think it's a religious podcast. Amen. I'm spiritual. I'm not religious, but I don't want people to think that it's religious. So I'm kind of sick of the name. And, but I want this to be an authentic production. But yeah, I'm sick of the name, whatever. But All Moments Eternally Nice still applies. It still applies. I think in its origin story, in nascency, it was to be taken at face value. That I wanted all moments to be nice. I used to say, this is a podcast about making our good moments great and our bad moments better. I used to say that. And I still feel that way. I do. Of course I want that for you and for me and whatever. But slowly it's changing, it's becoming a different thing. I'm becoming a different me. And, but the truth remains the same, except now when I hear All Moments Eternally Nice, you can hear my dog wrestling with herself on the ground. All Moments Eternally Nice now in my brain registers as avoidant. I'm avoiding.
What are you doing? Stop. You crazy. Go. Stop it. You kid. Come here. Yes.
Because all moments are never going to be nice. They're not. And when I sit in front of the TV for 10 fucking hours a day, that's what I'm trying to do, So the healthy origin story has slowly become, what word am I looking for? Cursed? No. I mean, kind of. What's it when something becomes, it's like it becomes toxic over time. It becomes, I don't know. Is this good listening when me just trying to think of a word? It's corrupted. It's become corrupted over time. The name of this podcast has become corrupted over time, and it no longer means the same thing to me that it did when I first started it. You know, I think this is episode 50 or something. This has been going on for almost a year now. That's longer. My voice cracked like a man's would. It's been going on for longer than I do most things, you know? God, that episode with Zane was so fucking messy. I'm grateful to him. I had a great time talking to him. I was like being way too... I watched it. I was so annoyed with myself. Hated seeing myself be like... I was just such a... I'm interviewing you, and it's like, you're two friends talking. Why don't you fucking relax, weirdo? I just have never done that before. It was awkward. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to frame it clearly. There were a million technical issues. The sound was awful. There's probably sound issues in this because this dumb fucking... I have this... You guys can see it. I have this mic arm, for those of you that are watching. This mic arm attaches to my desk. So anytime I touch my desk, anytime I pick up my vaporizer or put it back on my desk, if I hit this thing, it makes it resonates all the way up the arm into the fucking microphone and makes a horrible noise. So I can destroy the sound of a podcast on accident so easily. I literally think I may have done it already this episode. I could see there being these pings, and it goes ping. Lasts forever. There's some metal piece in the microphone that must be vibrating, causing that. So I either need to get a new arm. I'm thinking maybe I could put like a towel under, where it clamps onto the desk. Maybe like lay a towel in there and it would absorb, be like a shock absorber or something. But there were so many issues with it, with that Zane episode. And Zane's a very funny guy. And I'm a funny guy, and we're funny guys together. And I wish that I had done a better job capturing that. But the straight up truth, guys, I'm comparing myself to fucking these podcasts that are being put together by people that have either been in production before, they've made movies. These are very either famous or at least successful people. They've got money to spend, whatever. And there's no judgment. I'm glad that they're making products that are that nice, but I'm just, I don't know what I'm doing. I've been talking about getting a new intro song, and I looked into it on Fiverr. I found somebody that I think I could trust, but he was going to charge me more money than I can't afford it. I can't afford it. And that's okay. That's what I'm saying, really, is I'm going to just be okay. Hey, stop. You don't need to eat that. My Christmas decorations are half out still, and she's chewing on a Christmas tree.
You crazy dog. You crazy puppy.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with not her eating parts of Christmas. What are you, Jewish? So I'm okay with it being a fucking mess. I'm okay with it being a mess. I'm okay with it being unprofessional because it is unprofessional. I'm not a professional podcaster. I want it to get better. I do. I want the quality of the video and the sound and me and everything, the lighting. I want it all to be better. I want the interviews with people in the future when they happen. That was my first one, but I enjoyed it. I'd like to do it again. I want them to be so much more watchable than that was. So much more easily listened to than that had to be. I want to be more myself when they're in the studio, which is my living room, But this is what I'm working with. So this all moments eternally nice thing is, I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like out of one side of my mouth, I'm saying it needs to change. And out of the other side of my mouth, I'm saying it's the perfect title. I don't know. I had expectations of myself I want it to be interesting for other people. That's why I did the 2-article thing. And I think I will still do that. But I think it happening every week is not what's going to happen. There's going to be some episodes that are that, some episodes that are this, and some episodes that are an hour, and some episodes that aren't. And it's, what the podcast is going to be. It's just, and those of you that listen every week, I really appreciate you because you've always been there. You've been there since, before COVID. This podcast is just going to be whatever the fuck it is every week. That's it. That's just what it is. And if you find it to be listenable and enjoyable and entertaining, that is ideal. That's perfect. I'm thrilled. And if you don't, tune in next week because maybe it'll be totally different. I don't know. A lot of them are probably still going to be me doing this. I normally release this on Wednesdays. This came out on Thursday because I needed to take another day to think about what the fuck I'm doing. I just realized, like, just go talk to them, talk out loud. Think out loud. That's really what this podcast is too. Is like, that's the articles. For sure, the articles. It's me trying to figure shit out in real time. You know, you're hearing me figure it out or try to or not figure it out. And that's very much my life right now. I'm happy. I actually am happy. I'm really happy. I mean that. There's just some challenges. Normal shit. Nothing crazy. There's just some challenges. So I'm just trying to figure those out and move into the next stage of my everything and feel better about it. And then quickly again become discontented and be like, well, now this needs to change. So that's just how growth works, I guess. Quickly, I'm going to talk about shows. Then this is going to be a shorter episode. That's just what it is. Happy New Year, everybody. Hope everything was great. Shows lately have been so good. So good. I had it was just an open mic. But it was an open mic at a club that I want to work at. And with, like, normally there's, I don't know, 23 or 4 comedians on this show. It's a booked show, but it's an open mic. But there's like 23, 24 comedians. And there'll be like 18 that are figuring it out. They're like, okay. And then 3 or 4 that are physically upsetting to listen to and watch. They're so bad that you can't fathom where they even got the nerve to get behind a microphone. They're so bad that it makes you never want to tell a joke again. You're like, I don't think I'll ever find anything funny again. Are my ears bleeding? They're not? Well, let me find a pencil and jam it in there because they should be. It's that bad. And the 18 that are okay are some of them are going to figure it out and some of them are going to quit. Most of them are going to quit. A couple, 3, 4 might figure it out. And then even them are going to quit. Even those few may end up quitting. And the people that are, and then a couple more that are like really good. You're like, holy shit, that person's like good at this shit, you know? And typically those are just people that have been doing it for longer and never quit. It's not somebody doing it and it's just like, I've only done it twice. I'm just a fucking prodigy. It's not that. Are there prodigies in stand-up comedy? I've heard legends and myths of these people, the Eddie Murphys of the world, things like that. And then I go back and I watch early Eddie Murphy shit. And I'm like, he's new. He's not that good. I'm not talking about Raw and shit. I'm not talking about prime Eddie Murphy where he was still very, very, very fucking young. I'm not talking about that. But I'm like, no, I've never, ever. I've seen new people get lucky. Not lucky. That's not fair. I've seen new people get on stage and just be so raw and themselves because they haven't been bogged down by circumstance and the artifice of stand-up comedy yet, that they're just so themselves that it's funny. And people give them a benefit of the doubt because they know they're new and whatever. I've seen that. And then I've seen those people 3 weeks later be horrible because now they're trying to be something instead of being themselves. And Bill Burr said, and I used to have this theory. So fuck you, Burr. It's mine. No, but Bill Burr used to have this. I mean, yes, fuck you, Bill Burr. Fuck you, dude. That you do stand-up comedy. You're like the funniest guy that you know, or girl. You do stand-up comedy, and then it's so weird to just be on a microphone all of a sudden, and you're like entertaining strangers in a club, and it makes you nervous that you forget how to be funny, and you spend the first however many years literally like 8, 10, 12 years trying to figure out how to be yourself again, you know? And that rings true for me. That was my experience. That's still my experience that I feel like I'm still going through, you know? Again, I hope I don't I mean, like, I never want to get to the point where I'm not bombing, because then I suspect that, I never want to just be performing to silence or booze. That'll probably happen. But like, I want to make sure I'm having bad sets, because that probably means I'm trying something. Like, that's cool. But like, even whatever. I don't need to talk about myself in that way. Whatever. Shut up, Max. So, I this open mic the other day. That number was totally different. The 18, okay. The 3 make you want to off yourself. The 2, great or good at least, whatever. There were like 12 fantastic comics in that room. All of them had started in this area. Now they're working professionals and stuff. Just the stars aligned. And all those people happen to be in the same room at the same time. I don't know why. It just was that way. I don't know if it's because it's after the holidays or something. I don't know. But I've been to that open mic many, many times. And it was by far the best one I'd ever been to. And it wasn't because of the crowd. The crowd was good, but it was just a fair crowd. It was just what it should be. It was just a good crowd to like work on your shit on. Like, they were not going to laugh if it wasn't funny. There were plenty of people that whatever night that was that bombed. Not like a lot, but like enough. The bombs were all fair. All these people didn't deliver their shit. One of the people is funny, and I know that they just didn't get it. Just it didn't come together. But it's not because they're not funny. The other people were just seemed new. But all these bombs made sense, because you'll get audiences where people are like somebody's being very funny and the audience isn't laughing. And I'm like, all right, well, I don't know. They're not connected to the audience, I guess. And that's on the comedian. But like, other than that, the audience sucks. That's not what this was. So it wasn't an insanely, and I will say at first the audience was hot. They got warmed up. The host did a good job up front, warmed the audience up well. The first few comedians that did their jokes that were funny did very, very well. And then the audience almost got tired, which does happen. It's a long show. 24 comedians is a lot. It's a lot of up and down. It's a lot of weird energy. There was some weird energy in the room. A couple comics were very like antagonistic, and there was an audience member that was also antagonistic. And it's fine. It's fun. I love that shit. That shit is better than any television show to me. I love it. I love to watch a comic on stage either say something they wish they hadn't said or say something they meant to say, but they're fucking angry and now they got to figure it out. And then the audience member was like, it was like an interracial couple, and the comics were talking about it the whole night. And so the audience, a couple audience members were uncomfortable and were vocal about it, and it was fun to fucking see. So the energy in that room went up and down and fucking sideways. Shit was wild. It was cool. Wild's too strong of a word. It's fine, but so I got up. I was literally like third to last comedian. The audience was exhausted. So I had to really fucking work for it. I did. If my shit was not funny and I wasn't connecting and I wasn't delivering it well, I was going to eat it. They were going to be quiet. And I did so fucking well. And I'm not saying I'm amazing. I'm just saying, God damn it, I really earned it. And it felt great. And it was in front of a booker of the club and a lot of comedians that I respect and think are really funny people. And they work hard too. These aren't just like Steve from work who's silly about poop jokes. These are fucking comedians. It felt great. It felt really good. And I left feeling like, yeah, God damn it. Yes. And I always thank parts of myself, and I always thank the God that I pray to. I don't know who the fuck that is, but I pray. I just try to be grateful. When I pray, it's typically me asking for a little help or just trying to be grateful. So is there a God, guys? I don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows. If they say they know, they're either crazy or they're lying. That's it. Well, I took ayahuasca in the desert. Now I believe in God. Okay, you took a hallucinogen and you hallucinated? That's weird. It makes more sense to me that you would do something that doesn't make you hallucinate, and then you saw God. That would make me believe in God. I had a sip of Coors Light, and then Jesus popped up, and he's like, "Let me tell you how to earn $1 million in a year." Then I'm going to be like, God's real. If you go and you take an insane hallucinogen and then you hallucinate and you're like, yeah, it like made me see God. I'm like, yeah, that's why you paid $1,000 to ride in a fucking Jeep Grand Cherokee into the African safari to sit in a hut with people that actually work in an office. That's why you did that. That's why you were in a sweat lodge. And the guy told you his name was Rand, but his name is actually Tom. Okay? That's why you did that. So the fact that you're like, can you believe I believe in God now? I can, because you fell for it in the first place. I'm cool with like hallucinogen therapy. I'm fine with that. I think probably mushrooms could be helpful in the right setting. And I'm not even saying the sweat lodge tactic of ayahuasca is the wrong setting. But like, yeah, you did a drug and had a drug experience. That wasn't God. That's the drug. It just is crazy to me that smart people, very smart people that I really look up to, will take a drug that makes them hallucinate, that makes you, experience synesthesia and all these insane things that are just so four-dimensional that you can't process them when you finally come down from that trip. So you're like, it must have been a real experience. It's like, no, dude. Heroin makes you sleepy and euphoric, and it shuts down your respiratory system. Cocaine makes you horny but soft-dicked and energetic. You want to run, but you shouldn't because your heart will explode. And fucking ayahuasca makes a dude with a spear walk out of the jungle and say some philosophical shit. That's just what it does, and it makes you vomit out of your butt and your mouth. It just is weird. It's weird because people, they take ecstasy and they bond with somebody, and then 4 hours later they come down and they no longer feel that connection to that person. And they're not like, no, but what we had was real love. That's the same experience, It's like, it is like drinking 16 Bud Light and being like, no, that's the real me. The real me is the guy that can't see straight and got Taco Bell at 4 a.m. That's drugs, guys. Have fun. Benefit from them if they're beneficial. I'm not against any of that. But don't try to act like you've experienced something otherworldly. That's stupid. So when I pray, I don't know what the fuck I'm praying to. I don't know. I just am trying to be grateful. And it's helpful to me when I say out loud or in my head, God, thank you. It's helpful. It keeps me a little bit more humble because I'm not saying somebody else did the work for me to have a good set, but I don't want to assume that all the things that have come into my life to help me become what I'm becoming and become what I already am were all up to me. They're not. I didn't plan everything. A lot of shit happened to me. A lot of shit happened despite me, So I want to be grateful for the stuff I didn't have control over. I did. And I just, yeah. And you know what? Full circle here. I also had friends at that show that I never like to say I killed. I did. And I hate saying that because it feels just anti-humble. It just feels like, all right, this is your job. You're supposed to kill. But I really did well. And I had friends in the audience. I never bring friends because of the reason I told you at the beginning of this podcast. And I did. So it felt great. Not because they're going to think I'm a funny boy. They already thought I was funny. But because I got to prove to myself that I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago. I'm not the same immature kid that's looking for validation through other people. Them being there didn't matter that much because I put in the work to know what I'm doing when I'm on stage. And I need to put in the work to know what I'm doing off stage because that's where I'm starting to feel a little weak in the knees. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great week. I know it's only a 40-minute episode, but that's what we're doing. So fucking deal with it. Thank you for being here. Thank you. For those of you that listen, the 30 to 45 or 50 of you that are always here, I really do appreciate it. I really, really do. It's nice to not be talking to nobody. So take care of yourselves. I will talk to you soon.